Hello. Welcome on back to my channel. I hope y'all are doing well. Today's tutorial is one of my more requested tutorials. I'm going to show you exactly how I do makeup on skin that has a bit more texture to it. It's going to be full coverage. The eye makeup is still quite dramatic, and I'm doing this once again in partnership with Elemis. So if you want to learn how I created this look right here, then keep on watching. So to begin, I'm taking the Elemis Pro Collagen Cleansing Balm, and I start out by applying this to the general areas of the face, such as the forehead, nose, cheeks, and chin, before I begin to really massage the product into the skin. I've been using this cleansing balm for a while now, and it's definitely become a staple in my makeup kit. My clients love it, I love it. It really breaks down anything that's sitting on top of the skin, whether it be makeup or oils or pollution that's built up throughout the day. I personally use it almost every night in my double cleanse skincare routine, but I especially enjoy using it on clients before applying all makeup. I know it sounds a little silly to be taking this step to remove anything on the skin just to then apply on makeup, but it does make such a difference in the way the makeup lays on the skin. Today's a perfect example of that too. Our beautiful model Natalie informed me that her skin gets a little dry, specifically around her cheeks. So this is going to help not just remove any dead skin cells, but also to help soothe the skin, which just makes the complexion products we use look that much better. What I've done here is I've added some water, which activates this balm to become a cleansing milk. This is really important because when I first started using this product, I didn't realize that I was supposed to be adding water to it. And then once I had, it made a big difference. So really, this balm is like, 3 cleansers in one. It softens the skin as a balm, it breaks down the makeup as an oil, and then when you add water to it, it hydrates to finish as a cleansing milk. And I have to mention, it smells like heaven. The one I'm using today is their original one. I always say it smells like a spa with the eucalyptus, the lavender, the chamomile. It's so good. And they have a rose scented one as well, or if you're somebody who doesn't like any fragrance at all, they have one that's completely fragrance free. So there's something there for everyone. I'll list their site down below so you can check it out for yourself. If you're looking for a quality cleansing balm, you definitely have my recommendation for this one. And I always forget to mention it too, but we have a discount code with them if you want to use it. It's Spencer Glow. It's for, I believe it's for 20% off, but I'll also include that down below along with everything else. Alrighty, as you see here, I'm finishing up with this cleanse by taking a warm washcloth and wiping away that balm, and then heading over to this Ready Steady Glow Daily AHA Tonic and lightly applying this onto the skin with a cotton ball. It's formulated with lactic acid, which is an AHA, so basically over time with continued use, it's going to gently exfoliate the skin, which will brighten, tighten, and hydrate for a smoother, more energized looking complexion. Next up, I'm taking the Charlotte Tilbury Magic Cream and really working this into the skin as the last skincare step today. I know there's a lot happening with skincare in today's tutorial, but I can't stress enough how important it is in a makeup routine, especially if you're someone experiencing texture and breakouts and inflammation. It's not just about covering it all up. It's about taking care of it and caring for your skin, because really it's with us for the rest of our life. So, we got to be kind to it. I go a lot more into depth about skincare and what I like to use to eliminate texture in my glass skincare routine that I had uploaded a little while back on my channel. I'll link the video down below if you want to check it out for yourself. But as of right now, we have Natalie's skin cleansed, prepped, and hydrated for the makeup we'll be using today. For foundation, I'm using the Bobbi Brown Skin Longwear Weightless Foundation in the shade W054 and applying this on with a makeup sponge. This is a medium coverage foundation, I'd say, for the most part, but I do build it up to be on the more full coverage side to really conceal away the redness in her cheeks. As I said in my intro, this is going to be a full coverage look today, because besides this foundation, we're going in with a full coverage concealer and a full coverage foundation powder. So I'm keeping that in mind here. If you're just experiencing experiencing redness or hyperpigmentation, a good foundation with coverage to it will be fine alone as is. But because we're addressing texture today, that's where a foundation powder will really help out too. And by the way, I meant to say it while I was applying the skincare. If you're someone watching who is experiencing texture or acne or anything like that, just know it's 100% normal. We're human. That's how skin works. And although it can be frustrating at times, we got to roll with it and embrace it for whatever it's worth. I've had my fair share of cystic acne in the past, and I can tell you, there's not a makeup product in the world that will completely cover up texture. Texture you have to think of as 3D. It's all dependent on lighting. So, don't get yourself down when you see people with perfect skin on social media, because a lot of times there's a filter involved or photo editing. I've been there. I've done that. I'm totally guilty of it. I love a good filter. Even right now, you gotta keep in mind that I'm filming in professional lighting, 6, 7, 8 different lights. So of course, yes, the skin and the makeup is going to look its best. But the minute I step into an elevator with the worst overhead lighting, skin is going to look a lot different. So, I don't really know where I was going with this, but I say all this to say texture is normal and you are gorgeous, baby. Okay, once I have this foundation applied, I'm using the Makeup Forever HD foundation stick in the shade Y505 to add some warmth to Natalie's skin. I'm applying this on with a smaller face brush to below the cheekbones and around the perimeter of her forehead. Not really to contour so much, but to really add some color back in and give the face a bit more dimension. And I'm not using a lot of this either. A little goes a long way. Once I have this placed, I'll move on to applying the concealer, and I'll then come back to blend this out. To conceal, I'm using the Kevyn Aucoin Sensual Skin Enhancer in the shade SX02 and applying this below the eyes, starting from the inner corner, working my way down towards the nostrils and then back up towards her temples. This is a super full coverage concealer. You only need the absolute smallest amount of this, I promise you. It's pigmented, so just the tiniest amount of this will be more than enough to conceal and brighten the under eyes. And you can use this to highlight the rest of the face too if you want, the center of the forehead, the nose, the chin, and all that, but that's not really the direction I'm taking today. We already have a lot of product on the skin, so I'm going to be a bit more settled today with the highlighting and contouring and focus in more on the coverage aspect. And as you can see here, I've head back to the makeup sponge to blend out this concealer. I've even taken what I've applied to the under eye and blending that up onto her upper lid to conceal this area. You'll even see me here take that concealer through her brows. Now, hear me out. This isn't something I usually do or would recommend to most of y'all, but this is an interesting situation because, well, long story short, Natalie had her brows microbladed a few months ago and isn't the happiest with how dark they turned out. I mean, I think she's so stunning that she could shave off her brows and still rock it, but I do see what she's saying. They are a little dark compared to her hair color, so to help lighten them up a bit and give them a softer appearance, I'm blending this concealer through the brow hairs, and I'll later go in with a lighter shade brow powder. It's a little complicated now. I'm going to finish up on this blend here, and hopefully it'll all make a little more sense in a moment. Okay, so now that we're finishing up with this blend, I'm going to use the One Size Translucent Setting Powder to set those complexion products into place. Because I went a little heavier with coverage today, I'm going to need to use a tad more powder than usual. I start with setting the concealer first, and then I'll use this same powder to set the rest of the face. And I'm being sure not to forget the brows here. I usually do this anyways, just not this heavy, but there's a lot going on with the concealer and everything, so I need to make sure the brows are totally set and matte. Even if if you're not concealing your brows like I am here today, if you're one to do your brows after your foundation, setting your brows will help in how your brow products perform. If the skin under your brow hairs is slippery from your skincare and foundation, the brow products you use, especially if it's a pencil, is just going to slip and slide on that surface rather than grip onto it and dispense pigment. Also, the skin could give you flashback and flash photography, which could then make it look like you're missing a part of your brow in photos. That's a whole different story. So I definitely recommend setting your brows after foundation. Once we have the complete face set, I'm taking the one size, turn up the base foundation powder, and applying this on with a large face brush. I mentioned it earlier, but a foundation powder is really key with texture. Because powder mattifies the skin, it doesn't absorb and reflect the surrounding light as much. Therefore, less contrast in the texture of skin and a smoother, flatter appearance to pores and blemishes you may have. Truly, a foundation powder is your best friend if you have texture. Also, in case you're wondering, the shade I'm using here is Light 5NR. And once I've finished applying this on, I'm heading back to the loose setting powder and using this to bake. So I'm starting with the jawline first, bringing it almost to the corners of her mouth. Not only does this method prolong the wear of the makeup, but it also highlights this area of the face once we wipe it off a little bit later. And the same goes for the under eyes. I'm focusing this near the inner lower corner of the eyes and bringing it down towards her nostrils, keeping it pretty high up towards the bridge of her nose. This will not only highlight this area of the face, but it will also give a natural looking contour to her nose. Once we've applied this powder, I'm going to begin working on the brows using this Anastasia Beverly Hills Brow Duo in the shade Taupe to lightly fill in and shape her brows. I'm being very light-handed with this because I don't want to darken the brows so much so that we just end up back in the same place we started. So I'm just using a tad bit to fill in and lengthen the outer end and lightly dragging that forward towards the inner portion towards the bridge of her nose. Next up, I'm using this Essence Eyebrow Mascara in the shade Blonde to lighten up the brow hairs a bit more. This is my first time using this, and I'll say I'm really happy with how it's performing. I don't know if the camera is picking it up, but this really is lightening those brow hairs, giving them more dimension, all while keeping them very natural looking. To begin on the eye makeup, I'm using this shade Nude Mauve from the Natasha Denona Retro Eyeshadow Palette and using this to buff across the complete upper lid. I'm going to speed this up a bit or else, we'll be here all day, but you get the point. I'm just buffing and blending out this shade to get a really diffused, smoked out look. And truly, I love this color alone as is. I think it looks really pretty and simple, but I've been doing such natural looks lately that I need a little drama in the eye makeup today. So I'm dipping into this shade here called Groove, which is the deep burgundy plum, and buffing that out onto the upper lid as well. I think these colors look so beautiful on Natalie. It brings out her eye color and really makes them pop. And you see me here switching between two different eyeshadow brushes. One's a little larger and fluffier to diffuse out the shadow, and the other is to pack on pigment. The last shade I'm using from this palette is called Mod, and I'm popping this in the inner corner to brighten it up before heading back to the deep burgundy color to run through the lower lash line with a detail blending brush. For this placement, I'm really only keeping it on the lower outer half, so the eye shape remains lifted up and outwards. And because I, truth be told, could have done a tad bit better of a job blending out these shadows, I've dipped back into the foundation powder we used earlier to brush onto the brow bone. After I complete the other eye off camera, I'm using the Ciate Wonderwand mascara to run through her upper and bottom lashes. And this is all I'm going to use for the lashes today. I'm not going to add on false lashes. I think there's so much happening already, and the eye makeup is so bold that it doesn't really need a lash. You know what I mean? It's just kind of nice as is. Now that we have the eye makeup done, I'm going to dust off the powder that we've let sit here. And now that I think about it, I think maybe for the first time on my channel, I'm not adding blush, which is kind of major because y'all know I love my blush, but yeah, I'm kind of just loving how simple the complexion is looking today. It looks clean and minimal, and I don't know, I'm kind of feeling it. So we're gonna move on to the lips. The first product I'm using is this lip pencil from MAC in the shade Stripdown, and I'm using this to line the borders of her lips. I know this is kind of random, but just hear me out for a second. Is it just me, or does Natalie kind of look like Gigi Hadid? Right? The more I look, the more I see it, but I don't know, just a random thought. Anyways, the lip pencil is a classic and is going to give me the natural, understated start to the lip color I'm looking for. Next up, I'm using this Buxom lipstick in the shade Heartthrob. This is one of my current favorite nude lipsticks. It's peachy, it has a beautiful sheen to it, it's comfortable to wear, it's long lasting, need I say more, it's just perfect. And I'm not using a lot of it either, just enough to add some color to the lips and to diffuse out that lip pencil we used. And lastly, I'm using the new One Size Until Dawn setting spray to set and lock this makeup into place, which makes this the final step in how I created this makeup look on our naturally beautiful model. There we have it, kids. I hope you all enjoyed today's tutorial. If you did, be sure to give this video a big old thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. You can also check out more of my work on my Instagram at Painted by Spencer. And until next time, I'll see you soon.